Hi, I'm Dave Kahle. Welcome to this Christian Business Insights podcast show where my goal is to provide you with practical, actionable ideas to help you create businesses and careers of excellence and at the same time multiply your influence for the kingdom. I have been a Christian in business for over 30 years, and I have personally and contractually consulted with over 500 different sales organizations. So in these podcasts, I combine the lessons that I have learned with an out-of-the-box experience and perspective on Christianity that you will find challenging. And we put that together to provide you with practical insights and ideas that you can use to live better and lead better. Hi, this is Dave. Hey, we got a special program for you today. I'm going to be interviewing author Max Cates, and Max is an expert on servant leadership for sales leaders and managers. And so we're gonna get into it with Max and see what we can learn. Max, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's always good to talk with you, Max. I guess we've known each other for, I don't know, how long, 5 or 6 years, something like that, maybe longer.
Yeah, I think maybe even 7 years.
Yeah, it has been that long. Yeah. Time flies, doesn't it?
It really does.
Well, Max, give us a little bit of your background first. First, I guess I want to hear first about your experience as a sales manager. What brought you to this point?
Okay, as a sales manager, I'll tell you, I kind of fell into servant leadership. I was fortunate enough to have two things going before I got into sales management. I spent primarily, my whole background has been with Fortune 500 companies, and I had some good mentors, and I also had a sports background. So both of those things, I was pretty much being a servant leader and not recognizing it. So when I was in corporate communications with AT&T, I learned to lead people with a lot of the elements of servant leadership, of empowerment, of collaboration, of participating management, leading with a kind of humility, collaboration, teamwork, especially the teamwork thing, which is vital to servant leadership. When I was assigned to sales division, and when I got into it, it was everything that was just contrary to teamwork. It was a highly toxic environment. People were working against each other. Salespeople were working against each other. Very little collaboration, a lot of conflict with management among the salespeople, a lot of hyper-competitiveness, sales sabotage. So it was really just the opposite of what I was used to teamwork and collaboration. So I pretty much used my style, which I had learned through the years, and it evolved into, I found out, hey, there's a term for this. It's servant leadership. And so let me just give you an example of how I started. I brought everybody together, and I said, look, everybody in this room knows more about sales than I do. So I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. In fact, I want you to tell me how I can do my job to make us all succeed. The only thing I ask is that you just take a look at the vision, and our vision is to be number one in this corporation. Right now, there are 400 sales teams across the nation. We are number 367. So we're going to raise ourselves to the top. So all I ask is that you commit yourself to this vision, and that we work together to get there. So with that as a start, I asked them, you're going to have to fasten your seatbelts because we're going to do some things here that you haven't done in the past. And so we started a lot of participative management. I asked them what programs will work, what programs are not working, what they want to see to make them successful, the kind of training and resources I need to bring to the table, what they need to bring to the table. And it was all very much a team atmosphere. And, here's what I boiled it down to two things. Number one, Dave, this book, Four Steps to Supercharged Sales Teams, is all about empowerment. I am instructing sales leaders how to empower themselves and empower their salespeople individually and as a sales team to become the best they can be. That's what empowerment is all about, becoming the best you can be. And there are three words that characterize the whole process, and those three words are help others succeed. And I'm just going to run through those three words fairly quickly, but the first word...
Let me interrupt, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. I was interested in your personal story, how you got to where you are. So you were in sales management for a period of time, and then somewhere along the line, I think you retired. I mean, you retired more or less. Are you not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And now this is not the first book you've written.
Correct.
Okay. So you have a couple other books as well.
Yes. Yeah. I have. This is my fourth book.
Okay.
On servant leadership in sales.
Okay. So we'll come back to the gist of the book in just a second.
Okay.
But also you're a Christian, and so give us just a little background of your Christian walk, how you got there, and what it's meant for your life.
Sure. I grew up in the Baptist church, and I'll tell you, I through my working years, there was a period where I really kind of, and I use the term, not necessarily backsliding, but kind of side sliding.
Okay.
My heart for Christ was there was a distance there because. Okay. I like to characterize it as success addiction that took me away from, from my connectivity with God, because I was so intent on being successful that it became an addiction that, I got away from God, even in some respects, family and my personal values. And, at some point, I recognized this, I recognize I'm not where I need to be with Christ, because I wasn't focused so much on money. It was just my personal selfish ambitions, and that was taking me away from the church, away from Christ. And, in many regards, Dave, it was even taking me away from my people, from the people reporting to me, because I was at a point where I was becoming arrogant and demanding. And fortunately, I kind of caught myself in this side slipping, and I realized, man, I need to get back and connect to the people. I need to feel that Holy Spirit again. So servant leadership was the key. Servant leadership is what got me back close to God, close to myself, close
Interesting.
Yeah, close to the
Yeah.
people who work for me. And it's all about Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to give you an interesting little anecdote.
Okay.
I do yoga every morning, stretching
Okay.
exercise. And
Okay.
one morning I woke up, and this has just been, a few years ago. I woke up and I heard two words, empty yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, man, where are these words coming from?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I got on, I Googled it, scripture
Mm-hmm.
pertaining to empty yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is so fascinating. It was like Christ was talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that scripture is Jesus came to earth and disavowed heavenly privileges, emptied himself, and became a servant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, this is where I need to be. This whole concept of servant leadership is really me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's God. It's Christ
Mm-hmm.
working through me. It's the
Mm-hmm.
Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So everything coalesced at that point, Dave. It was
Mm-hmm.
really kind of an epiphany because,
Mm-hmm.
my background on sports, collaboration, teamwork, humility, empathy,
Mm-hmm.
sacrificial love.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's at my core. It's
Mm-hmm.
not selfish ambition, and it's not my own attainment of goals and status
Mm-hmm.
and success.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, I just finally saw, man, this is not me.
Yeah.
So that was that
Wow.
moment that got
Wow.
me
Wow.
into
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. That's a great story. So, you applied as a new sales manager. You applied the principles that you espouse in the book of servant leadership. And real quickly, so what kind of results did you get? Any results?
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, Dave, it was almost immediate results.
Mm.
I had been assigned a team that had not met objective in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Morale was low. Um, Toxicity was high.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was working against each other. And within 9 months' time, we had achieved achieved objective for the first time in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Within a year's time, we were in the top 10 of the 400 sales groups.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just like in a year, it was a complete turnaround.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So, a question I have is, and we're going to get into in just a minute to the practices of servant leadership as a manager. Question I have is, there are the practices, the things that you do that make up the content of servant leadership, and then there is the person that you are, and I wonder if you have ever thought about, or I'm going to ask you to think about it now, to what degree do you think the results that you had were a result of the things that you did, or of just your presence and who you were as an individual?
That is a great question. And here's one way to look at it, and that is a lot of it does pertain to your core values and to things like, are you empathetic? Are you a good listener?
Mm-hmm.
Can you divest yourself of personal ambition?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is about resilience
Mm-hmm.
and having a collaborative heart, a collaborative nature. But here's the interesting thing that I've found through years of studies of this. Many of those things can be learned.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to, and I'll give you an example, empathy, for example.
Okay.
You know, and I know just enough about neuroplasticity and the way that the brain works to be dangerous. But I'll tell you what I know is that some of us are born with empathy. We're born with what they call mirror neurons. And these are neurons that allow us to understand people and to empathize with people. But those who are not born with empathy, who don't have a preponderance of mirror neurons, can learn empathy. They can learn empathy through a variety of different techniques, listening skills, active listening, you know, just self-awareness, self-regulation, and those kind of things. So I hope this answers your question, but yeah, with servant leadership, a lot of it is how we're born, how we're raised, our family of origin, but so much of it has to do with learning to be a servant leader.
Yes.
Because, you know, when you get right down to it, Dave, very few of us are natural born leaders. Very few. Leadership is very, very much a learned process.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's very
well.
much...
That really tracks with, you know. So this is a question that I've dealt with as you know, for all of my career as a person who trains salespeople and sales leaders and CEOs and so on. The question is, can anybody become a salesperson? Can anybody become a sales manager? And my answer is, it sure helps if you've got the raw material to start with, you know. But on a scale of 0 to 10, I've always said, you know, I can take a 7 and make them a 10. I absolutely can do that. I can take a 5 and make them a 7. Absolutely. I don't know that I can take a 0 and make them a 10. You know, so can people learn? Absolutely. Can they learn? Can they change? Can they grow? Yes. Does what they do impact who they are, and vice versa? Yes. It's just the way it works. And learning is, from my perspective, of course, you know, I've written on this and spoken on it for decades. Learning is the single most important success skill we will have in our career. Our ability to learn and change and grow is the single most important thing that we'll have going forward. Having said that, let's now get to your new book.
Okay.
It's a long ways around.
Yeah, can I add one thing about what you just said?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm an optimist, and when it comes to Christ, I'm very much an optimist. And I go back to Scripture so frequently, and that is to be transformed through the renewing of our mind.
Yes.
And boy, when that transformation happens, Dave, I've seen zeros go to tens. I have seen it.
Yeah.
It happens. Okay. But, you know, you make a very good point about 7 to 10 is a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Well, okay. So now you've got a new book on this, and tell us the title, because the title, I think, captures the content.
Yeah, the new book is 4 Steps to Supercharged Sales Teams.
Okay, so what are the 4 steps?
Okay, well, the first, let me get to the 4 steps. I want to preface it by saying this,
okay,
just to simplify it.
Okay.
There are 3 words that characterize the process, and that is help others succeed.
Okay.
And I'm just going to run through those 3, and then I'll get into the 4 steps. Help is basically bringing out the best in your people. Help them become their best. Provide the training, provide the resources, provide the encouragement, provide them with a safety net a safe place where they can become their best, where they can take risks and not have to worry about reprimands and, use failure as a learning tool. And the other, to identify what is their best, discover those hidden gifts, and develop those gifts. So that is all about helping. Others is getting outside yourself. Cleanse yourself of your personal selfish ambitions. Put your people number one. When you put your people number one, it will put you number one eventually. But get outside your personal ambitions and learn empathy. Learn how to deal with your people. And one thing when I'm talking about others, this thought comes to mind. We always hear about the golden rule, and that is treat other people as you would like to be treated. Well, forget the golden rule. Let's go to the platinum rule. The platinum rule when it comes to others is treat others as they would like to be treated. That's empathy. That's servant leadership. That's recognizing what people need, not what you need, but what they need to be successful. And it will make you successful in turn. And then the third thing is succeed. Help others succeed. Succeed is developing a vision that's clear, that's concise, that's inspirational. And it's a vision of success for your individual team members and for the team as well. And here's the thing about it. You need to lead aggressively with a relentless will to succeed. And that's all about success, helping them envision what is success and leading the way.
Let me just interrupt for a second, and that is, I've often observed, and actually I've written a couple articles on this, that one of the biggest challenges for a salesperson who is promoted to a sales manager is understanding that success is a whole different thing now, where as a salesperson, you are primarily successful by your own efforts. As a sales manager or sales leader, you're successful if other people are successful. And so the whole mindset at the core level is changed when you move from salesperson to sales manager, and that is a very difficult transformation for a lot of people to make, to go from it's all about me to it's not anything about me. It's about everybody else. And I got a couple articles on that along the way. Say, before we continue, and I'm going to ask you to come back here with the 4 steps here in just a second, but I just wanted to mention that we have an annual course in sales management. It's called the Kahle Sales Management System. And we teach that as a cohort beginning in January every year for about 16 weeks, about 8 sessions over about 16 weeks. And Max is going to be one of our instructors. Max will be teaching a session on servant leadership. So anyway, I'm not sure when this show will debut, but I'll put a link in the show notes for anybody who wants to check out that program. And I think I would register right now. We're going to start promoting it here shortly. And January 1, we'll close off the registrations and we'll start a cohort. And we have anywhere from, we limit it to 12 people per cohort. Last time around we had two sessions. So we'll see, but learn how to become an effective sales leader, and Max is going to be teaching one of those sessions. So good to have you with that, Max. Okay, back to the book. 4 steps. What are the 4 steps?
Okay, the 4 steps are: first, principles and practices of servant leadership. And that's pretty much what we've been talking about, helping others succeed, leading with humility, empathy, selflessness, accountability. Accountability is very, very important in servant leadership because the leader is accountable to his people, the people are accountable to him, and you know, where you really, where you know you've reached ultimate success, that's when your people are accountable to each other. The second, and I'll get into some details of all this later. The second step is self-management, and that is self-awareness, self-regulation, learning to be the best leader you can be, because you know the quality of your leadership is connected directly to the quality of your personal development. The third step is team building. Team building is just so vital to the whole servant leadership project. And in the book, I give very specific details and practices on how to lead a team, how to build a team together, develop a productive team environment, to get your team working together to create not only a healthy environment, but achieve some really spectacular sales results. And in the book also, there are a number of success stories of super successful sales leaders in sales who have literally transformed the sales environment or their companies. You know, for example, one went from basically zero revenue and built a sales, it was a sales team from 0 to 25 million, all based on servant leader practices. So it's all about team building. And the third step is empowerment. And you know, Dave, in a lot of cases, that's what this book is all about. It's all about empowerment. It's empowering your people, it's empowering yourself, it's empowering your team to achieve results that you have never achieved in the past. And I have, you know, through the years, I have found some just super successful sales leaders who have done it all on servant leadership, servant leadership format.
I'm gonna come back and ask you for an example of a couple of these things in just a minute. But we're running out of time here. We can't go on and on forever. So, what's again title of the book, and where can one get it?
Yeah, it's 4 Steps to Supercharged Sales Teams. It's available on Amazon, on Books A Million, Barnes and Noble. Google Books, any online bookseller has the book, and it's called 4 Steps to Supercharge Sales Teams.
And that's by Max Cates, Cates.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So in the time that we have remaining, Max, so the themes that your 4 steps here are themes that resonate with me because I've written about many of these things over and over again. But the one that kind of piques my interest is teamwork. And the reason I say that is because my view is that a salesperson is pretty much a loner. You know, he's being alone is part of the job requirement because you're out there by yourself. You know, for the most part. So teamwork. Tell me about teamwork as an aspect of servant leadership, and can you give us an example from your experience of teamwork in a sales team?
Sure. You know, I have been in sales environments, Dave, where, man, I really did not look forward to going into work every day because there were all these continual squabbles, continual fights among the salespeople. They were fighting for territory. They were fighting for commission. You know, they were fighting each other and even sabotaging each other, backstabbing. And there was all this fighting going on between the sales team and sales management. So it was just like, man, every day I couldn't wait to get out of the office. You know, it was that kind of environment where, you know, I didn't want to be in the middle of all that. But when I got into a sales leader and developed a sales leader environment, got people working together, got salespeople and management working together, it was a great place to go in every day. You didn't have to worry about getting...
So how did you get them working together?
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, it always comes from the top.
Okay.
The sales leader has got to not only encourage teamwork, but insist on teamwork.
Okay.
So here's what, I mean, there's all kinds of approaches, but first, you know, you can just take a very rudimentary approach, and this will lead me into an example. You know, one thing that I did, I immediately, as soon as I got on board with the sales team, I instituted a program of sales meetings which involved a round table.
Okay.
We would go around the table, and every rep was responsible for sharing ideas, for sharing product applications, for sharing competitive intelligence, for sharing anything that would help the other people succeed.
Okay.
So it was not just, hey, could you? It was, yeah, this is your job. You know, your job is to come on board and share what's going on. And no, there's not going to be any secrets, you know, because, you know, one thing that I always encouraged was that we're going to be competitive, but when we're competitive, we want to beat each other at their best. And I'm going to give you a great example of that, using those exact words. In one sales meeting, we had a lone wolf, and this guy was just, he had no interest in teamwork. He, you know, he would come in and sit at the sales meetings and didn't have much to say, and you know, he was just a lone wolf, and you know what I'm talking about. You know?
Absolutely.
So one day, it somehow sank in. So one day, he stood up and says, man, I found this great product application. And the application was selling websites to dentists.
Okay.
So it was a nice little product application that enhanced dental operations, and dentists loved this website application. So he went through all the techniques of how he sold the application, how the application worked, and to tell you the truth, I was kind of stunned, and everybody around the table was like, whoa, wow, he just shared all this with us.
Yeah.
And so he finished, and he said, and I've got one reason for telling you all about this product application, and that is I want you guys to sell it as well, because when I become top salesperson of the year this year, when I win that award, I want to beat you guys at your best. I don't want to beat a bunch of weaklings. I want you guys to be the best when I beat you.
Yeah,
so,
well,
so that's kind of an example.
That's a great story. Thanks for sharing it, Max. Hey, we are running out of time here. I'd love to pick your brain some more, but people have to get the book, you know, to gather that wisdom and knowledge and learn how to really remake themselves in their sales teams and become excellent and influential, you know. So, Max, thank you for being a part of this. I'm going to look forward to the book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to look forward to it. And thanks for being a part of this.
Well, thank you, Dave. Always appreciate time with you.
All right, sir. I think we're done. That's it. Bye-bye.